This is your WLAK Daily News Roundup for Lake Air, 107.5 FM and 1260 AM in Amory.
Civic Media News. I'm Terry Bell. Here's what Wisconsin needs to know. $36 million for opioid treatment in Wisconsin is being held up by one anonymous state lawmaker. The unnamed legislator is a member of the powerful Joint Finance Committee. They filed an objection to the Department of Health Services plan to spend the money. The money comes from a court settlement with 4 drug makers. The Universities of Wisconsin says UW-Platteville will vacate its Richland Center branch campus on July 1st. Local officials say they were caught by surprise. Senator Kelda Roys spoke about state support for the UW system at a forum in Muscadet this week.
State support for the universities has, in my lifetime, gone from just under half of the revenue that they get to between 11 and 15%.
The UW has closed 5 two-year branch campuses in a year and a half. High school athletic directors in Wisconsin say they need more time and more information before they can support student athletes getting the same kind of name, image, and likeness rights as in college.
Let's make sure we're fully vetted before implementing change. Let's make sure we do this and understand what the consequences are before we make a change.
Jeremy Schlitz of Madison is one of a majority who voted against NIL at Wednesday's meeting of the WIAA. Wisconsin election officials are considering how far election observers need to stand from poll workers on Election Day this year. The Wisconsin Elections Commission met yesterday to get public feedback on a proposal to make observers stand 3 to 8 feet from election workers. Commissioners will meet again in late June. Donald Trump is coming back to Wisconsin next week. Trump is set to speak in Waukesha next Wednesday. The Republican is on trial for 34 felony counts of falsifying business records to cover up a sex scandal. Trump has a narrow lead over President Biden in the latest Marquette poll. I'm Terry Bell, Civic Media News. Now here's what you need to know closer to home.
For WLAK News, I'm James Kelly. City of Duluth officials are hoping their Get Downtown Week not only gets more residents out into the community to support local businesses, but also improves the overall safety of the area. According to a Northern News Now report, some residents have expressed concerns about things like panhandling in the downtown area, keeping them away. Officials say that more foot traffic in the area should improve overall safety, but the Duluth Police Department also increased their patrols. Get Downtown Week runs through Saturday. A Barron County company will be laying off nearly 40 employees as it ends its hatchery operations over the next 2 months. Jennie-O announced that they would no longer be harvesting turkeys at their Barron plant and has submitted a notice to the Department of Workforce Development regarding the layoffs. According to a statement from the company, they've entered an agreement with a Minnesota-based hatchery, which will supply a percentage of their turkeys. The company hopes the agreement offers more efficiency. A popular Duluth bakery is set to open a new facility just across the bridge. According to a Northern News Now report, Duluth's Best Bread will open a new bakery on Tower Avenue in Superior, taking over the space formerly occupied by Twisted Pastries. To gauge community interest in the new location, the bakery held a pop-up event in March to give residents a preview of what the fully opened location can offer them. The new bakery is scheduled to open on May 28th and will be open Tuesday through Sunday from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. A Northland County animal shelter is offering discounts on adoptable dogs who are at least 1 year old. Currently, the animal shelter has about 20 dogs that they're caring for, but it can only take in a total of 27, so space is beginning to run short. Officials are hoping the discount will encourage more potential adopters to consider the older dogs, which are always more difficult to pair with a new home. The older dogs are all spayed and neutered, up to date on vaccines, and microchipped. The sale has been extended through Sunday. The Geldwen Window Manufacturing Company has officially filed notice with the Wisconsin Department of Workforce Development that it will begin laying off employees on June 10th. The Rusk County facility employed about 340 people who will be laid off as the company consolidates its production into an Illinois facility. Wisconsin state data shows the county had only a total of about 1,300 manufacturing jobs, so the loss of 340 of those jobs is a major hit to the industry. The notice was filed on Monday. A communication mistake led a group of union members outside the Eris Apartments last week to protest the wrong company. According to a Northern News Now report, the North Central States Regional Council of Carpenters Union protested outside the apartment project, claiming the contractor Ultimate Drywall was underpaying its employees. This week, however, the union acknowledged that Ultimate Drywall was never actually contracted for the project, despite receiving information from on-site workers that they were. A historic train that has resided in Barnum for years is being sent away. According to a Northern News Now report, the Duluth and Northeastern 280 number 27 has been in Carleton County since 1956. As its condition began to deteriorate, officials decided to give the steam engine away to anybody who could supply the transportation to move it and fix it up. The Wisconsin Great Northern Railroad plans to take the engine after they inspect it to ensure it can be fixed up and added to their fleet, which runs historic train rides in Trago. There's a new way to take advantage of some popular Duluth attractions. According to a Northern News Now report, the Duluth Passport will give residents the chance to visit the Great Lakes Aquarium, North Shore Scenic Railroad, and the William A. Irvin at a discounted rate. The passports cost $45 for adults and $25 for kids under the age of 13, and officials are hoping it will encourage residents to visit more than just one of the attractions. The passports can be purchased at duluth-passport.com. And that's what you need to know. For WLAK News, I'm James Kelly.
The Brewers with a win in Pittsburgh. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Brewers held on to a 3-2 win over the Pirates. Pittsburgh walked in a couple of Brewer batters in the third. Milwaukee very short-handed for pitchers. Bryce Wilson got his second chance at starting a game. Manager Pat Murphy.
I'm finding that out right now. I'm finding out I like him as a starter. I think he can do it. And I think he's getting started at it, and I think he's very, very capable.
NBA, it's the Bucks and the Pacers tomorrow afternoon in Game 3 of their best-of-7 series. Chris Middleton says he's all right after missing part of the first half of the last game, getting a sore ankle retaped. College hoops, more players entering the transfer portal for more NIL cash. Greg Gard last night in Madison asked about A.J. Storr and Chucky Hepburn leaving the program.
I'm not mad at anybody or specifically Chucky and AJ. If anybody in their right mind told any of you guys or gals that you could go triple your income, you'd do it in a heartbeat.
The NFL Draft tonight. The draft is in Detroit, runs tonight through all day Saturday. Next year, the draft to be held here in Green Bay. The Packers with the 25th pick. I asked GM Brian Gutekunst what makes his scouting department unique.
We've had a long-term process here for a long time that has not only had success here, but it's had success other places. Whether it goes back to Ron and Ted and putting that effort in.
The Chicago Bears unveiling a plan to build a new indoor stadium on the lakefront, not in the suburbs in Arlington. The catch is they want Illinois taxpayers to split the cost, estimated to be $4.6 billion. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Parents, take note. Dora is back. Variety reports that Paramount Plus has renewed the show for a second season. Dora is based on Dora the Explorer, which had a 19-season run on Nickelodeon between 2000 and 2019. The animated series was geared toward preschoolers and follows Dora's adventures in the rainforest. The decision to renew was made quickly. Paramount Plus launched the reboot not even 2 weeks ago. Swipe or no swiping. How important are opening weekend numbers when it comes to the box office? Ryan Gosling says the reason there was not a sequel to The Nice Guys, his 2016 film, which also starred Russell Crowe, was because it opened opposite Angry Birds. IndieWire reports the app-based animated movie brought in $38 million opening weekend compared to just over $11 million for The Nice Guys, thereby all but denying Nice Guys a sequel. Does anyone else think it's funny that a guy named after a young goose is upset with Angry Birds? The late Sam Kinison was known for outlandish behavior and pushing boundaries on stage and off. A new book about the show Married with Children reveals that Kinison actually auditioned for the part of Al Bundy. According to the book, during a season 4 guest starring role, Kinison mooned the entire cast and crew, then apologized by taking everyone out to dinner at an expensive LA restaurant. Later in the week, to make up for the fact that he was late to the set, he hired strippers to serve lunch. Kinison also apparently flashed a gun at one of the show's producers who showed up at Kinison's house, suspecting his girlfriend, who is also a friend of Kinison's, was there. In addition to Kinison's antics, the book also talks about how the series regulars were all hesitant to be cast on Fox TV's first show. The book is called Married with Children versus the World, the inside story of the shock-com that launched Fox and changed TV comedy forever. Don't worry, the book is a faster read than its title. Tom Brady will make $375 million as an analyst over 10 years. I'm not trying to denigrate a profession, but $37.5 million a year to say, great catch? I would have done it for half that. The legendary QB will be the subject of a comedy roast on Netflix May 5th. That's right, they're going to roast a handsome 7-time Super Bowl champion who married a supermodel and seems to be liked by everyone, despite his past friendship with Donald Trump. Good luck, writers. The feud between Taylor Swift and Kim Kardashian is back in the news. Swift released a song called Thank You Amy, which references a bully. Swiftie fans suspect the song is directed at Kardashian, whose ex-husband, Kanye West, said derogatory things about Swift in 2016, which Kardashian still defends to this day. Taylor Swift is not ready to shake it off and came out swinging through song. In a related story, Kardashian will retaliate with a new sex tape. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 7 to 9 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Sunny and a little warmer today. We'll get to 63 for a high this afternoon. The wind out of the southeast at 5 to 15. Tonight, clear this evening, becoming windy with showers after midnight, 42. Tomorrow, windy, cloudy with scattered showers and thunderstorms and a high of 57. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Currently, it's 47.
That's your WLAK Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at lakeair.radio.